What's the formula against the Lions team that is so banged up, you think, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, obviously on the defensive side of the ball, we know that the injuries have, took its toll on the defense, and we know defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has done everything he can to simplify that defense schematically to make sure that the guys they're bringing in off the street, from other teams, off practice squads, he's trying to keep it simple so they can go out there and play fast. And it's it's an opportunity for this Bears offense to get right. It's a Bears offense that hasn't scored, that's scored under 21 points in 3 straight games. And, that Detroit offense is obviously the number one scoring offense in the league. And we know if the Bears want to have a shot in this game, they're going to have to score points because that offense is going to score. I know they're going to be missing a key part of that offense in David Montgomery, who, I think is the identity of that offense in terms of setting the tone in terms of the way he runs with physicality. But, when you have Jared Goff playing as well as he's playing, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and all the weapons they have on an offense, you talk about Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get more carries. He's a dynamic back, one of the better dynamic backs in the league. There's a Bears offense that's going to have to score points to win this game, against a vulnerable Detroit defense.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just, at this point, Courtney tweeted the stats out earlier in the week. Since Eberflus was fired, the defense has really gone backwards. I mean, you can run on them, you can pass on them, though the Bears, at least to this point, have played better at home. It doesn't feel like you're winning a 10-7 game. You know what I mean? If you're winning, it's 27-24 or something like that.
Yeah, and the thing you worry about this Bears offense, right, is all the self-inflicted mistakes that we've seen throughout the year. Yeah. You look at last week's game, we're on the 1-yard line and we couldn't score. You get Doug Kramer that does a report. You get a holding call by Karan Amagaji, and the rest is history. That drive is history. We don't score. So to have a chance in this game and, to be able to win this game, you're going to have to score against a makeshift Detroit defense. And I think that's the formula for the Bears. You've got to execute on offense. You've got to make the plays when they're there. We saw a bunch of drops last week from key players on this Bears offense. But it's an offense that, can you actually get right at home and put points on the board, something we haven't done consistently all year.
Another minute with Jason McKie, our sideline reporter for the Bears games on Sundays. Well, this Sunday, not every Sunday. You were in Minnesota on Monday. And I don't know if other hosts have asked you. I haven't talked to you that often this year. But in these crunch moments, you mentioned, missing on the 1-yard line, the penalty, the not reporting, all the chaos that's happened this year. What's it been like seeing it up close? Is it been as chaotic as we've seen on TV at times?
Yes, it has. It's being a former player and being in the same cleats that these players have been in. I haven't been in a lot of these situations they've been in terms of the way they've been losing games and the way the lack of execution in critical situations and critical moments in the game. It's been deflating. The players have shown signs of it on the sideline, in the locker room. They've been vocal. We've heard them all throughout the media here in Chicago talking about how frustrating it is, and we've seen it. It cost the coach's job. But that's the thing. We look at this team. Can they get it out of their own way? Yeah. And that's been, the story of the season. If you were to execute in critical situations, then, we'd be talking about a Bears team right now that could be possibly in a playoff hunt if you actually executed the right way in those critical moments. So, it's tough. You don't know what team's going to show up week in and week out. And, when things get going for this team, something bad happens. When the offense gets going, there's a penalty. There's misuse of a timeout, as we saw. There's a lack of execution. And then it just steamrolls and spirals out of control and mounts into another loss. So,
yeah, it's just too bad because, other than Caleb, a lot of these guys were here last year, and you would have hoped that some of that stuff would have, they would have taken the negatives from last year and learned from them and brought them to the table this year. And it feels like the negatives have kind of just carried over. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you 100%. I think it's, when you look at the way the season transpired last year, you felt like coming into this year, you had a couple pieces. Yes, we were lacking pieces in terms of offense and defensive lines, but you would think that it's a young team that would get better. And, I feel like, when you look at this season, we've regressed. We haven't gotten better. And that's the most disappointing part. You want to see a team that's ascending, and I don't see a team that's ascending. Yes, we've added some key pieces, some young players that can make plays, but at the same time, when you look at the mistakes that we've made in critical situations, the coaching errors, the player errors, just the drop passes, lack of execution, players not reporting, it's really disheartening. So, that's signs of a team that just, that needs leadership, needs direction, needs a revamp, in my opinion.
All the things that they haven't had this year. Jason, you do a great job on the sidelines. Stay warm on Sunday. And, I'm going to pull a cap. When I come on his show for baseball reports, he blames me when the Cubs or Sox don't win. So you need to bring home a win on Sunday. You need to do this, Jason. Even though you're not suiting up anymore, we're going to put it on you. Come on, let's go. We need a signature win in Chicago before the end of the year. How about it?
Now, I'll do my best, man. It'll make everything warmer here in Chicagoland. We get a win on Sunday. So
well said.
Hopefully our beloved shows up.
You got it. Enjoy the game with Tom and Jeff. We'll talk to you soon. That's